Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per detail.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Welcome to today's episode of the Coach and Coordinator Podcast. Today, we're tackling an important topic that resonates not only with coaching, but also in how we navigate the ever-changing world around us. It's about embracing innovation and the balance between man and machine, and the opportunity to refocus our work on what truly matters, the people in our lives. Stay tuned as we dig into this topic, which is a follow-up on CultureGPT. I'll link that episode in the show notes.
Hey, it's Emma Chamberlain. I designed these new glasses for Warby Parker, and I basically can't take them off. Like, I'm showering in them and sleeping in them. They're just that good. Go see them all at warbyparker.com. And you know what? Have a good day, too. Okay? All right? Bye.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Throughout history, we've seen the narrative of man versus machine and the fear of being replaced by technology. And there's probably not a more popular story than this, than the tale of John Henry. I remember watching this on cartoons growing up, and you may have heard it in school. Somewhere you've heard the story of John Henry, who was that steel-driving man who raced against a steam drill to prove that human strength and endurance could outperform technology. And he did beat the machine, but the victory came with an immense cost. He pushed himself to the limit, giving every ounce of effort that he had, and tragically died as a result. John Henry's story is often celebrated as a triumph of human spirit, and I do think it is that. I think truly what we do as humans, the way we think, what's in our heart, will always triumph over technology, but I do think it's a cautionary tale. What did that victory cost? Was it worth it? And I think the lesson is clear. It's that refusing to adapt or relying solely on brute force, the grind, can leave us exhausted, broken down, or worse. And there's a better way, and that's to use technology as a partner, not an adversary, to use it to make it your assistant coach on staff and not view it as something that is separate from us. Railing against these new tools often stems from our fear of change, and the cost to resistance is clear. Industries that clung to outdated methods have been overtaken by those willing to innovate. And I really believe coaching is no exception. Ignoring advancements that we have in front of us, like AI or data-driven systems, can mean missed opportunities to enhance player performance, improve our game strategies, or even streamline our administrative tasks. I talked about how we can use it as a tool to monitor and grow our culture and make sure that the foundation of what we put in and install early in an off season, usually the first thing, going over the culture again, that we can monitor what's actually going on with the tools of AI. Again, go to CultureGPT to see examples of that. On the flip side of it, turning everything over to technology does have dangers. AI doesn't understand the pulse of our locker room or the nuances of human relationships. It's not going to inspire your team or connect with a struggling player. And that's where we as coaches stay at the helm of this. We're using these tools to enhance our work, not replace it. We're not turning everything over to the technology. We're simply using it to be more efficient and effective with what we do. This past weekend, I was at Track Football Consortium in Chicago, and Tony Holler made a powerful statement. I wrote it down. I came back to it several times. It resonated with me. There are families that aren't good because of football. And think about that. As coaches, we do become slaves to the grind. We glorify quotes about outworking everybody else. We put them on our walls. We write them on our whiteboards. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. I've done it before. Anything I mention in podcasts, I'm guilty of. I've come out of seasons, as I mentioned before, just in awful health because of how I handle myself personally. But it's not just what we do to ourselves. It's also thinking about what we do to our families. Chasing the grind, we neglect what matters most, taking care of people. And there's a hard truth that you can't take care of people in one area of your life and disregard or neglect them in another. And again, I'm speaking from experience. When my daughter started playing volleyball, I was new to the college coaching. I really stuck to the schedule that we had, and because of it, I didn't see her play volleyball her first 2 years because of football. I paid attention to it. I talked to her about it, but I actually was unable to get to games, and my son began playing football. I think he was around 8. I managed to watch 3/4 of a game of him playing in that entire year, and it took me going to 3 different games to get it, 1 quarter at a time, and missing all the rest. And I really regret that. It's something that I still carry with me. It's something that's driven me actually to do what I'm doing now. When I stepped away from the game, my intention was to go back later, but I really enjoy what I'm doing now and how I stay close to the game and how I can help other people. So there's the good part of that, but there's also that regret, the things that I missed. And that's what I want to make sure that if you're listening to this podcast, we can think about those things. We can come up with better ways and how we work for the future. I've talked to coaches before, not really on air, but off air. And, some of these guys would mention that there's guys in our profession who wear a divorce as a badge of honor as well, that they equated that their hard work and the number of hours, their grind, their willingness to commit to the team was what caused that, and she just didn't get it. And, I know we always talk about finding the right person who can support us, but, I think that's true whatever profession you're in. It still means that we need to not just say we're doing it my way, but we have to see how can we work, how can we have that quality of life. And, the home team series we had years ago had a lot of coaches come on and talk about that exact thing. It stands out to me. Sean Lewis, who was at Kent State, the head coach at Kent State at the time, talked exactly about that and how he unplugged and made sure that they had family time. And a lot of examples of that. Some of those episodes did make the transfer over to our new platform. We'll be sure to pull out some of the ones that we didn't and get those reposted. I think you can look at coaches from the past and what they did and point to those as well. We always point to, again, these quotes and coaches working hard in the grind. But Paul Brown sticks out as somebody who was innovative. He created playbooks. He used game film analysis. He didn't shy away from technology. He really embraced it, even came up with some things on his own, like the first in-helmet radio communication that was decades ahead of its time. But he still connected with his players and developed disciplined teams and used tools to enhance, not replace, that leadership. So I think this has been done before by some of the greatest. Maybe we don't hear about those things as often as we need to. I think what's happening right now, this boom in technology, new technology really around AI, offers us some new opportunities as coaches. Today's tools, particular AI-driven systems, offer us an opportunity. They allow us to analyze data, streamline our schedules, reduce administrative burdens that weigh us down. It allows us to monitor our players, actually see where they are, what the load is on them to make better decisions about practice. But the real value isn't just efficiency, it's time. Time to focus on what truly is important. It's about building the relationships, mentoring our players, addressing the human needs in our program and in the other areas of our life, and including our own personal life. There was a podcast we did probably, I think it was a year ago, with Eric Corum, and we just focused on coaches' health. I'll link that one. There's another one with Gwen Lawrence, talking, she's a yoga expert, a mindfulness expert. She was with the New York Giants during their Super Bowl championship year with Tom Coughlin and was a part of that staff, and she had some great insight. I'll put that in the show notes as well. Looking at the technology and what's in front of us, I think about the role I've taken with CoachTube as the director of football content. I think a more efficient way to learn the game than we've ever had before. We had to do a lot of travel, a lot of time away from family to actually go out and sit down with people and talk. And I think there's an extreme value to that. I don't think that should go away, but I know also now we have a more efficient way of learning the game through a platform like CoachTube. We've shared a ton of information, over 4,000 courses there that you can really get to anything you want, learn something just with a click of the button. And I also like how it allows coaches who are sharing their knowledge to be rewarded for it. So that's a part I think a lot of coaches, maybe you as listeners, don't know about, that if you have ideas you want to share, you can put it on CoachTube, and you're going to get anywhere from 50 to 100%, depending on how that sale originates. So I highly recommend looking into that. Contact me if you're interested in it. Email me at keith@coachingcoordinator.com or DM me on Twitter/X at Coach K. Grabowski. I've also taken an advisory role with Modern Football Technology. Their mission is about creating tools that make coaching decisions faster and more effective. It's freeing to be able to take that time and focus on our people. And technology alone isn't enough. We have to streamline ourselves because too often we take and add responsibilities and what the new technology does, but we don't remove anything. And that's how the grind takes over. We have to ask ourselves, are we working harder or are we working smarter? I think we need to quit equating time with productivity. It's about the quality of the work we do, right? I don't think we have to associate it anymore that I'm going to be, tied to my desk, sitting in front of that laptop, watching more and more and more film, when there's going to be a reduction in the return on your time that you're putting into it. 80-20 rule is something to remember, that about 20% of your effort actually gives you 80% of the results, right? We need to start embracing that. We need to start streamlining the way that we do things, and I think there's huge opportunity here with what we do. It's a crossroads for us that we can stand here and resist these advancements, or we can embrace them with a purpose. Following examples of guys like Paul Brown, we can use technology to do excellent work in less time, giving us the freedom to really focus on what matters most, our people. And our people not just being our players, the coaching staff, but our people being our family, and most importantly, ourselves. The grind doesn't have to define us. The relationships we nurture and the impact we make do. So let's think about that. Let's lead by working smarter, embracing innovation, prioritizing the human side of coaching. And it's not about man versus machine. It's about man and machine working together to build stronger teams and better lives. So again, go to the episode on CultureGPT. I'm really excited about those things. I'm going to be putting out more information on that, as well as some guides on how to use it. So be looking for that. Follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com. One of the things I really loved about this season is we really started highlighting coaches who are doing great things. The guests on the episode, we always write an article on those guys, so be sure to check out our blogs and learn more about what these coaches are doing. This is an opportunity in 2025, and we're really looking at what we're doing with the podcast to put more coaches and perspectives in front of you. I introduced yesterday on X our Think Tank series, which we're going to have that for offense, defense, and special teams. That's going to be 3 coaches just chopping it up about one particular topic that we give to them. They're not assigned to talk about certain things. I think it's going to be very organic in how some of these topics develop and the conversations develop. I think there's going to be a lot there. I know that all of us doesn't play well for audio, so we'll be sure to enhance our show notes. I've mentioned that as well. And the other thing we're bringing back is our Your Call. And in the past, it was time-consuming for me, but now I'm able to use some of the technology at my hands and fingertips to make sure that we're getting your ideas and including those in the podcast. I want this to be about learning from each other and continuing to develop this community here that we have with the Coaching Coordinator podcast. So really excited about those series. I mentioned Tony Howler before. That's going to be one of the first series we're kicking off here later this week, sprint-based football. And when you talk about something that goes right along with this idea of not having to embrace the grind, about doing things smarter. I mean, this is a movement. I'm excited for this one. Tony's going to be with us throughout the year, sharing ideas, bringing experts in, showing exactly how this has worked for teams that have been able to take these concepts of sprint-based football and take their programs to a new level, winning state championships. So stay tuned for all of that at Coach and Coordinator. And we look forward to serving you in all you do as a coach.